saying that there are people we know can do certain things. Let's put them there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Vincent is one of such people.
Yeah. Dr. Park, what have you got to say about
well, I mean,
a lot of people have questioned certain appointments the president
but you see, there are various variables that go into appointments.
But there's one outcome in everything.
Yes, fully noted. And so you must understand that. And sometimes too, you know, your threshold or your criteria may not necessarily be the one that is being applied. I mean, we are practicing a constitutional democracy, and there are certain constraints, you know, of course, regional balance, ensuring that you have gender balance, you know, all of these factors have to come in. So
But
sometimes,
as it stands now,
sometimes the appointing authority has to make the best of the constraints that the system throws to the appointing authority. But the president knows best. He has his team, he has his goal and his mission.
The president himself hasn't said that.
And he believes.
Don't put words in his mouth.
He believes that he has the people that he needs to get his job done.
Let's
give him the benefit of the doubt.
He's going to bring a talk.
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
No, not from the Banda Boy.
Who?
Banda Boy is good. This one, the daily guy.
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Why? What has he done?
Why don't you see the headline?
Samens, the point I'm making is that let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Who?
The president.
No, I'm not challenging.
He has done
I think
what
he
he needs
hasn't.
to do.
He hasn't challenged.
But we're only helping the
I'm
president
just saying
to
that
look at some of the talents around
Precisely.
and bring them to the fore.
within the NDC
You
folk,
understand?
we're not
Because
saying that go out of
Are you
NDC.
worried that if he decides to be okay?
No, not me.
I'm
Not me.
looking for
I
something
think
else.
you're even going ahead of your. If the president
I'm not worried
is
at all.
President Mahama, I'm the one
Make
saying
him
it.
regional minister.
If President Mahama
President.
agrees with me
This
that
one
there are
is
some
a
people that he has to
regional
change, he will
minister.
change. It's only a matter of time.
Make him regional
That way is
minister.
how to
who
solve
will
this
be.
ship this morning.
You know,
There has to be good reason.
You want
my
to be a
uncle to be a
minister?
regional minister. Abba. If I get to
I
Abba,
think he's
it's
comfortable as the president.
I'm comfortable hiding where I am.
Dr. Park, are you sure?
it's not.
Are you sure
Yes.
you don't want a bigger post?
I like where I am.
not.
It's very convenient.
Really?
Oh yes.
Okay.
I get to come and do programs like that.
When you're a regional minister, you can still do it on Burger Radio.
and-
No, but
and
he did some quite a good job with the bonded warehouses. You made
And we are not done yet.
some
Actually,
savings.
There's going to be a very
But
big
you had a lot of
experiment.
And the toll booths.
When I was
that
outside my house,
was phenomenal. The toll booths.
Yeah, they told
But
me.
you know, in the past, he used to comment a lot in the media on corruption.
Yes.
I knew you were
No,
going
he's
to
not
come to
talking
that.
again.
He's
He's not talking again. He's not talking again.
No, he stopped talking.
No, why not?
No.
Suddenly, everything looks good.
He
Yeah,
shut the
it's
book.
now
Yeah.
good
Because I'm
governance.
not going after the bad guys myself.
You are going after the bad guys.
Oh, that is
yourself.
part of my
He
responsibility.
raised a very important issue about corruption.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
He did.
Do you want to comment on that? I
Well-
mean, we are being told that this won't be like Jida.
I agree. And as I said earlier, that is why we have the legal regime in place. And
We have several legal backings to a lot of things, but still.
well,
corruption.
within the context of this particular issue. But I think that the issue of corruption, the president himself agrees that has become very worrisome. I think almost every facet of our society has come out to speak. But I think that as the National Anti-Corruption Action Plan has been rolled out, what we should be looking at is to look at a systemic way of addressing the issue of corruption. Not long ago, there was a workshop as part of that process of outdooring the implementation of the National Anti-Corruption Action Plan, which you know is giving us about a 20-year window to try and institutionalize and strengthen the resolve to fight corruption. And they were suggesting that the fight against corruption and the education about the negative effects of corruption on society must even start at the home. It must start at the home, because sometimes domestic pressures certainly can cause otherwise decent people to engage in acts that can turn out to be corrupt practices. So I think I would like to use this opportunity to invite all of you to download the National Anti-Corruption Action Plan on the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice website and look at the plan of action. And let's all do what we can wherever we are to implement it.
Dr. Apa.
You know, the game of politics is a very interesting. It's like a movie, you know, the way we shoot it.
All right.
Apak used to be the man breathing
You are still going back to that.
corruption. Today, we should download.
Oh, but the document we need
Today
to
we should
study.
download.
I'll make sure I bring it up.
I think you are making him feel very uncomfortable.
He must be uncomfortable. At the time he was getting
you are
us-
not being fair to him.
Oh, I am.
To his
I am.
uncle.
Don't worry.
You are
I
not
have
being fair to
been
him
fair to
because
him,
you
sometimes.
see, no.
I'm an
you see,
over now.
Yeah,
I
now
now
can't
he's in government.
So the language is different.
The language has to be different so he can survive.
Oh, okay.
But I just told you what we
So
are
you are
doing,
surviving.
and I told you about the
So are you
corruption
surviving?
action plan.
I can
So,
tell
Uncle,
you
are you
that
surviving?
your assessment of corruption will be selective now.
Yeah, of course.
Because
As
now that you are
expected.
inside, there are some areas that are untouchables. You won't dare.
I hear.
Dr. Park, we love you. Anyway, a taxi driver, Wisdom Danu, mistakenly picked up by the police in a swoop on drug dealers at Ho in February this year and released after spending 3 months behind bars, has given a horrifying account of his ordeal at the hands of the police. He was strolling in town when the police mounted a swoop and arrested everybody nearby. He was found innocent and freed at a justice for all sitting at the Ho prisons, and he said that he was whipped with high tension wires daily by the police, who took an entrenched position to extract a confession from him. Samens, I'm sure it's not the first time you're hearing of a story of this sort. I mean, most of the time, like recently, there was another journalist who apparently was not guilty after all. He went and served time, came back. Yes, he was innocent. This guy, well, fortunately for him, he did only 3 months behind bars, but the stories keep repeating themselves.
3 months behind bars.
It's
a long time in history.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's unfortunate. I don't know what the police themselves are saying about this, but it's unfortunate, and I think that we can do better. The police administration can do better. You know, I must say that the police is also in some form of a transition. If you see the police personnel on our streets, good number of them are new, who are still, being trained. So we can excuse them for some of the errors. But I think that when it becomes repetitive, then we start having problems. So the police administration should wake up and open their eyes. But I don't know what legal options is available to this young man concerning the way he was treated by the police. I don't know how these things work. But if there are any legal options, I think he is free to apply them.
Dr. Pa.
Well, I haven't read the story, but it looks like it is a rather unfortunate development. I think that every citizen has rights, and indeed we must always be eager to defend the rights of citizens, and therefore it will be expected that at least the arms of our state responsible for both protecting us and also ensuring that people have the right environment and atmosphere to seek redress, do just that. Sometimes it is very discouraging because this type of trauma certainly can have even negative health effects, and psychological effects as well. Knowing that perhaps you didn't commit a crime, and yet the system sort of puts you in the cooler for something that you have not done. You can even lose faith in your own state because of these types of occurrences. And I think that not just this occurrence too, but the issue of Felix Nyaba, whom I knew, a very wonderful journalist who was writing for the Enquirer as a court reporter, as a matter of fact, how he was accused of having molested a young girl and was jailed only for it to be discovered that indeed the crime for which he had been put in the cooler certainly could not be proven, and that had not occurred. So, whilst we want to seek justice if and when allegations come up, I think law enforcement must be a bit cautious in the way these things are done, so that we don't end up punishing people for no wrong done.
Yeah. Cabo.
Well, I think that there are many cases of people who have been on the wrong side of the law and have been wrongly incarcerated, and I think that we may have to look into it. I'm sure some of the media houses have really started a lot of broadcast on some of these people who have been incarcerated. And it's quite unfortunate that is happening to this young man. I think that also the police, like Samen said, are in some sort of transition. A lot of young and new recruits are out in town. Many of them, are having to learn on the job. And so we have these challenges. But he talked about the Felix Nyaba issue, which I have also been following, and the fact that, he was wrongly put in jail. And if you go to the prisons and you speak to people, those of us who visit the prisons quite often, you will find some of the horrifying stories of people and how they found themselves here. The police and interrogation of suspects also, there must be some professionalism to it. I mean, you can't force a confession out of people through coercing them and whipping them with. I mean, this is completely barbaric. I mean, it's unacceptable. Not to say that the police have not performed professionally in the past. We know how professional they have been working, but this calls for a lot more support for the investigative wing of the police and how they conduct interrogations, into suspects and criminals. I think it's quite crucial that we look at these issues more holistically. And also, you would realize that as part of the decongestion program of our prisons, many of our prisons are so congested. We have so many people there. Others have been there for remand. These young people who were arrested, in fact, it got lost on my mind, when I heard that the president was going to pardon some people. I mean, I would have made a passionate appeal to His Excellency the President. That you remember there were some 5 gentlemen of the New Patriotic Party who were arrested, and charged with murder. And speaking to you now, 7 years on, their case has never been brought forth. The prosecution and so they've been remanded for 7 good years since February 2009. They have still been in prison. I would have appealed to His Excellency the President, under his certificate of mercy and amnesty, to have considered those brothers of his, because there's absolutely no reason. It was for pure political purposes. They were charged with murder. Their case has always been back and forth, and for 7 years, no concrete case has been brought before them. It's really a pain in the hearts of many people that Yahuza and his brothers have been incarcerated and put on remand for all these years. And your Forum for Governance and Justice, you should take up these issues apart. This is the kind of people you will fight for justice for, and you will go down in the annals of our history as a good justice crusader. And also engage His Excellency the President, to find mercy in his heart, to forgive those brothers of his, for the treatment that they are being meted to them. Is completely unacceptable. And I think that His Excellency, if he's watching, should allow the Spirit of God to suit his heart, so that these young men can also be freed.
Okay, let's look at one more story before we talk about the dollar and the cedi. The troubles of sacked MC for Ejusu Drabing in the Ashanti region, Kweku Efrifa Yamu seem far from over. A few days after Yamu left office, the NDC chairman for Ejusu constituency, Eugene Ejakun, labeled him a notorious thief in the class of the famous convicted armed robber Atayi. Yamu is a thief. He's just like Atayi. It's an open secret in the municipality that Yamu is a thief of the assembly. The NDC chairman, who was angry and panting for breath, stated during an interview on Inshura FM's program, Ekroimunsem, hosted by Kofi Asante. Yamu had, on the same program, accused Eugene Ejakun, who is the Zoomline municipal coordinator for Ejusu, of indulging in fraudulent activities, which some time ago landed the NDC constituency chairman in trouble with the police. Summons. I mean,
wow. I saw the headline and I thought it was the MPP person, MPP person accusing Yamu Ponko of being a thief. But it turns out the NDC, the chairman of his own party, accusing him. I mean, he probably knows a lot that we don't know. But I at times when I hear this Yamu Ponko name pop up in the media, I get mixed feelings, because I think this is some personality who has had issues everywhere he has been, from his days at National Health Insurance. I think it was in Accra, and then in Kumasi, and then somewhere else, and it's always been one issue after another. So it's no surprise that the president did not renew his mandate as a chief executive of a municipality. So, but this thief thing, I don't know what to say, but it's curious to hear your own party chairman label you as a thief, I must say.
Tabu.
Well, Yaman Panko is a political maverick, and with those of us who have worked with him, as far as the political exchanges are concerned, we know the kind of person he is. He's a bulldozer kind of person. I wasn't surprised that the people of Ejisu had even the to contain Yamua Ponko for this long. But of course, Yamua Ponko was serving a certain interest in the NDC. And if you ask my good friend Apak, he'll tell you that he had a certain poster which was good for the NDC in the scheme of Ashanti region. They're looking for the rabble rousers and those who can rock the boat and get to the core of the base of the NPP. But beyond that, his own managerial capacity in the district was worrisome. This is not the first time. There was a case of a woman's property which was bulldozed and broken down, and she had all documents, and it was a bizarre case. For instance, they were trading in insults and attacking everybody, and everybody who has disagreed with Yamua Ponko, you can be sure that he will unleash a lot of harsh critiques and attacks on your person. So I wasn't surprised that the president has relieved him of it, and he's so angry and mad that the letter was circulating on social media even before it got to him. You understand? His sack letter was on social media even before he got the hard copy of the letter. But this is an internal matter. Now, if somebody is coming from the same house and calling him names, who am I, Anthony Kabu, to challenge, deny, or disagree? I can't say much. I'm not in that party. I don't know what he has
I can
stolen.
actually see the glee in your eyes.
No, I haven't seen what he has stolen.
Of Laura.
Me, I don't know what he has stolen. I don't know what he has taken.
So who are you?
So who am I?
Exactly.
To even sit here and claim that the story is true or false.
Or the man is not a thief.
Or the man is not a thief.
Yeah.
Or he has stolen the money or not.
Yeah.
Or he has stolen public property or not. I can't say. We only want to hear what my uncle will have
And
to say
who am
about
I?
his party member.
Who am I, Dr. Park,
It's your party.
He's your party
to
member.
pronounce on something I don't know? But I want to look at this from more of a party angle. I think that in politics sometimes there are disagreements, and if you notice the relationship, you are talking about the constituency chairman who is said to have made this allegation versus the outgoing MC. So whilst I have not followed the issue quite clearly, there's some bad blood because the paper said, I think when you read a portion, that both of them granted interviews to a particular radio station. So it was an accusation and a counter accusation. You quoted the paper as saying that the Yamua Ponko was said to have indicted the chairman, that he had engaged in some acts of fraud some time ago, and he also comes out to say that he's a thief. I would like to caution party members that it is not very convenient for us to be washing our dirty linen in public. Whatever the issues are, the internal structures of the party are available for them to seek redress. Because this, you are a thief, you are a fraudster, and all of that, capturing front page news certainly doesn't augur well for party cohesion, particularly in a region that we are looking to get 1 million votes. This is not very helpful for the country.
All right. Now, before we go, let's talk about the cedi and the dollar. Have you been impressed so far? I mean, it's getting better, isn't it?
Well, if you say impressed, I mean, at a snapshot, why not? The appreciation of the cedi by 20% is good. But for some of us who are students of economics, will tell you that this appreciation is not sustainable. Now you hear the government and its communicators talk about speculators, and that it is the fact that speculators are are looking to speculate, and that is why we are having this problem. But we all know that, you know, the IMF is bringing in some money. We've been told that the Bank of Ghana is also pumping in some amount of money to shore up the city, and I'm told about $20 million a week. Is it a week or a day?
It's a week, isn't it?
I heard experts.
I heard a day.
You heard a
Yeah,
day.
I heard a
I
day.
heard a day.
I've
If
heard
I'm wrong,
also.
I'm sorry.
It's
but
a day.
Are you
heard a
sure?
day.
I think
day.
we all need to be clear on that, because I've heard different.
I heard a day,
You know-
because initially I thought it was a week, but somebody
Corrected
high up
you.
said it was a day.
day.
Yeah, but even that makes it even more problematic, because
Why?
how will the government continuously invest 20 million cedis a day to shore up the city?
You don't,
For how
think,
long?
you don't
No.
think it's sustainable?
It's completely cannot be sustainable. It means that we are being cringed. There is no fiscal space for the government. But what could have been done to resolve this matter once and for all? And the president indeed have been talking about it, you know, in his interview with the BBC, that look, we have about rice imports into this country alone, has tripled under this government. From 2001 to 2014, we've seen a jump, you know, of about 350,000 metric tons to 650. That is a big jump in terms of how much we are having to change to bring in.
Well, I
rice.
just got a text from somebody at the Bank of Ghana. It's actually a week.
Yeah,
Exactly, you know. So even if it is a week, it is still problematic, because all these monies that are being pumped in, it's not money they can withdraw again. It goes in, goes into circulation. It's not going to be money you can have. But we're told that the cocoa syndicated loan will come, and that may help stabilize it.
Okay.
We're told that the Euro bond, which the government is seeking, will come in and may help stabilize it. Fine. We are all happy. The country will benefit, businesses will benefit if our CD is stable. But as far as I know, and from what we are all reading and what we are seeing as far as the data is concerned, this pumping of money by the central bank is not sustainable.
Okay.
We must find a long-term solution to dealing with the crisis as far as our currency is concerned.
Okay.
And also change the basics of our country's economy, because you can't continue to import so much rice when we have the Fumbisi Valley farms that could have been invested in. He knows very well. The Karga rice farms, he knows. The Afram Plains, the Aveime rice. We're not seeing any of that. We need
Okay.
to build local capacity
All right.
so we can move forward and also
Okay.
earn something for the state.
2 minutes to go. Cement.
I'll go with Kabu to the extent that this is not a sustainable intervention. However, it will still be a good intervention. Good in the sense that it has stopped the city from the upward movement in the manner that we saw in the last couple of months. The gradient, however, is too steep for sustainability, and I think that point has also been made. And my only wish is that while we are putting in this temporary measure, I hope that the government is looking at a more sustainable approach to balancing the equation, because last year, sometime first quarter of 2014, we saw a similar thing when the dollar dropped again from 4 cedis right down to 3.2 thereabouts, and then after sometime in the third quarter, the thing started going up again. So as for artificial means of bringing down the exchange rates, every country will do it if they find themselves in this situation. But the more important question is that beyond the temporary measure, what are we going to do? Our exports, our selective imports, do we have the power to manage them? And look, politicians getting into rice and sugar imports, this is a pain. You understand? Kabu gave us the percentage of increment in rice imports from 2001. You understand? Is it 2001 you said?
Yeah, from 2001.
So, and between 2001 to 2015, you can count the number of politicians who have been involved in rice importation. So they should stop this thing and help us to grow our economy. Because for as long as, look, we go to Burkina Faso and go and buy tomatoes and go and buy onions with safer foreign currency, when we have the same climatic conditions, even in some cases better, to grow this produce. So what kind of a country are we? So let's manage in the longer term and see how we
Dr. Park, unfortunately, I'm not going to take your comment. It's 8 o'clock.
Well, it is good that the city is gaining against the
I
dollar.
said I was going to take the
We'll leave it there.
All right. Thank you very much. Samuel Atamensa. I like Samens, you know. Managing
Samens is
director.
more cuter.
Yes, Samens is more. It's cute, you know. It rolls off your tongue in a certain way.
Next time you make up for the time loss. I
Yes,
didn't
I
get
will.
my last bite of the
I
cherry.
will. Samens is managing director for City FM. He celebrated his birthday.
You know
2
Kabu
days
worked
ago.
with City FM before?
Yes.
You did?
Oh, I did. In
As
fact,
what? A
with,
DJ?
With Suhini.
Yes.
Radio Go.
Of course.
All
Of course.
right.
Of course.
see.
That was
Not
our
bad, not
I
bad.
see.
Correspondent.
And
Broad background.
Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Clement Park is the presidential staffer. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank
The
you.
people of Laura, this is your boy.
Hey, how about for Missy?
Yeah, that's right.
Fumbisi.
Some other rice.
Yes, the rice.
No,
We are going to
Fumbisi
invest.
rice
We are
bag.
going to invest.
Okay, I hear you.
All
I hear you.
All right, so that's your boy from Laura, Anthony Cabo, who's eyeing that Laura seat.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much for your time here this morning, gentlemen.